be a postseason tournament in the West Coast Conference, but if there was such a thing as the WCC championship game, it would be the exact matchup we have here today. The stage is set between the top two squads in the league. With a win or a tie, Pepperdine lifts the trophy for the first time since 2017. If Gonzaga can find a road win, they take home their first WCC championship in program history. I'm Asher Lowe, glad to be with you to take you through the final 90 minutes of the regular season in Malibu. The Bulldogs, led by head coach Chris Watkins, have the best attack in this league. 51 goals on the year, leads the way by a wide margin in the West Coast Conference. They cannot afford to sit back today. They have to go for 3 points and get a win that would send them to the NCAA tournament for the second time in program history and for the first time in 2 decades. Tim Ward told me the 6-game WCC win streak has been about the process. They haven't focused on the results, on all the wins they've stacked up. And he also told me if you could give him one game for a championship before the season, he would take it all day long. They have that game here today. 90 minutes to decide a WCC champion and book a ticket to the NCAA tournament. Kickoff is next, right here on ESPN+. It quite literally all comes down to this. 90 minutes at Terry Fromm Rokas Field to decide the West Coast Conference winner to book a trip to the NCAA tournament. Starting 11s for both Gonzaga and Pepperdine. First for the visiting Gonzaga Bulldogs. Lauren Town in goal. Lauren Chin, Maddie Kemp, Gianna Riley, Kelsey Euler at left back. She is dangerous in the attack coming up from that left back spot. Marissa Garcia, Chelsea Lee, Paige Alexander, who plays often up top in that 4-2-3-1 formation. Grace Corder, Michaela Warner, and Amelia Warta. There you get a look at the Gonzaga starting 11 under the direction of Chris Watkins, who has done a phenomenal job here with the Zags. We'll get more into his tenure as this 90 minutes carries on. For Pepperdine and Tim Ward, they've mixed things up. They've played some different formations today, and I'm just guessing here. I think it's 3 at the back. We'll see when we start things out, but with this starting 11, it looks to me like they'll start with a 3-4-3 type of look. So 3 players at the back of that line in front of Taylor Rath. It'll be Duckett, Engie, Romero, Tatum Winalda getting her 9th start. She has often been a super sub for this Waves team. Tim Ward wasting no time. She's in great form, has a few goals over her last 3 games. Wasted no time getting her out there. It'll be Winalda, Sampson, Bloom, Leonard, Tori Waldeck, Julia Quinones, and Karina Gonzalez. What's at stake here for the Waves and for the Bulldogs? For Gonzaga, their first WCC championship in program history. They are 90 minutes away from it. With a win, Gonzaga wins the West Coast Conference and goes dancing for the first time since the only time they did it back in 2005. For Pepperdine, the culmination of an amazing run over the last month. They have not lost since September. October was perfection for the Waves. This will be their 7th straight win if they come away with 3 points. But all they need to win the West Coast Conference, and trust me, Tim Ward is not thinking about this, but all they do need is a tie, and they would win the WCC for the first time since 2017 and the 5th time in program history, all 5 of those under Tim Ward. The Waves in their home orange, all orange unis, the orange socks. Gonzaga in the road whites with some blue trim, red lettering. The Zags will start from my vantage point working right to left. The Waves working left to right here in Malibu. Our officials today, Karen Collado is the lead. The AR's Kira Helmer and Jacqueline Raymond. The 4th official is Sarah Ramadan. 90 minutes on the clock. 2 teams in blistering form right now. The top 2 goal-scoring teams in the nation. If the stats hold true, we could see over 5 goals today. Gonzaga averaging 3 a game. Pepperdine just over 2.5. As quickly the Waves win a throw in their defensive zone. 6 wins in a row for Pepperdine, a team picked to finish 3rd in the West Coast Conference. Gonzaga picked to finish 4th. So you actually don't have the top 2 preseason teams meeting today, but you have, of course, the top 2 teams in the stat that matters, the standings right now in the West Coast Conference. Santa Clara was picked to win this conference. I do think they get into the NCAA tournament. They play at the team picked to finish 2nd tonight, Portland. That'll be a game at 7 p.m. tonight and could define the future for Santa Clara and their NCAA tournament hopes. Portland, if they beat Santa Clara tonight, not totally out of the question, but their RPI right now in the low 60s. That would be a tough task on Selection Monday, not Selection Sunday. This Monday, we will find out the 64-team field for the NCAA tournament. One team on this field right here will clinch their place and not have to sweat it out on Monday, but I do think both of these teams think they've done enough, no matter what happens today, to get into the dance. Tatum Winalda has done enough over the last few games for Pepperdine. Here she is inside the 18 looking for Waldeck, who leaves it for Skylar Engie. And the Zags get on the end of it through Maddie Kemp. Riley's calling for it up the pitch. It'll be the run of Alexander. Now it is Riley. A lot of space to work here, middle of the park. She stares down Duckett. Little in and out move, it's still Riley. A lot of waves in front of her though, plays it off. It'll be Marissa Garcia just outside of the 18. The Zags need to go for a win here, they know it, and they're gonna be playing the way they have all year long, which is quick, aggressive, attacking minded. You have to play attacking minded. 51 goals. They are 8th in the country in scoring, top of the league in the West Coast Conference in scoring. No matter what happens today, one of the best seasons in program history for the team ranked number 19 by the U.S. Soccer Coaches Poll. Gonzaga 12-3-2 this year, 5-1-1 in the West Coast Conference. Pepperdine 9-3-5 ties, 6-1 in the West Coast Conference. Pepperdine also, of note, undefeated on this field this year. In fact, it goes deeper than that. Tim Ward, in his 24 years at Pepperdine, has never had a losing season at home. There's a hex, maybe, about playing here for opponents. You saw Portland just kind of fall apart here in Malibu. They came into a game with Pepperdine 2 weeks ago having given up 3 goals all year. They gave up 4. Riley has a chance. Riley! It breaks for Gonzaga early. The Bulldogs lead 1-0 inside of 4 minutes. A few bad bounces and a clinical finish. That was all the Zags needed. It bounced perfectly for Riley, who is tied for the team lead coming in with 9 goals. That is her 10th of the year. A top 3 goal scorer now with that goal in this conference is Gianna Riley, the sophomore. All of a sudden, the waves on the back foot. The live table right now, if you're playing that game at home, Gonzaga leaps Pepperdine 19 points to Pepperdine's 18. They would be the outright conference champions, but to say there's a long way to go would be an understatement. 52nd goal of the year for this Gonzaga team, and it's come from a bunch of different places. Pepperdine a chance to bounce back right here with their first corner. Ball sent in, a lot of bodies in the box. Coming out to get it was Town. She couldn't really clear the danger. It'll be Quinones on the right, always rising. Goal kick, Lauren Town. How did that break so perfectly for Riley? Put on a silver platter. That is a nightmare start. And you know what? It's been quick starts. That's what Tim Ward's been saying to me. Quick starts, early goals. That is what has allowed Pepperdine to build this 6-game win streak and be in a position right now to come away with hardware. It'll be a very different task for the Waves today. It already is with that early goal going to the Bulldogs. Just turns everything you just said in the locker room on its head if you're Tim Ward and Pepperdine, an early goal like that. And how about it for a Gonzaga team looking for their first conference championship in program history. Off to a pretty good start. Romero will bounce it off of Riley. Intercepted by the Zags. They could be in, but Romero puts a stop to any of that. Riley diving, and that will stay in play for Victoria Romero, who boots it out for the first Gonzaga corner of the match, 5 minutes in. It'll be Marissa Garcia coming over to take it for the Bulldogs, who has 8 goals this year, 4 assists. The junior out of Rowland Heights, California. On her left foot, a chance to swing this in. 5 Zags around the top of the 18. Something from the training ground possibly here. Garcia, back post. Taylor Rath just punches it over and had to. That thing was dipping down. Taylor Rath clapping her hands. It'll be the second corner in the last minute for the Bulldogs. Same story, just look in a mirror. We'll do it from the other side. Taylor Rath, who has been so solid. She really couldn't have done much about the first goal from Riley. The punch with the right hand has started all 17 games for the Waves between the sticks this year. Garcia again. In-swinger coming. Duckett gets ahead to it. And the foul will go Pepperdine's way. Called by our lead official, Karen Collado. Gives me a chance on this goal kick to shout out Taylor Rath. Second in the WCC in save percentage at over 80%. 57 saves on the year for Rath. It's not always a good stat, by the way, when you lead the conference in saves. That right now goes to San Diego because, well, they've had to face a lot of attacking options. Pepperdine has been better defensively, so you don't have as many save numbers. But second in save percentage really says all you need to know there, behind only Portland's Bree Norris, and Portland has one of the best defenses, not only in the conference, but in the country this year. This front three, Tatum Winalda, Tori Waldeck, Julia Quinones, that's where the goals have come from for Pepperdine. Of course, Tori Waldeck right now leads this conference in goals with 11, tied with Farrah Walters of Santa Clara, after she had a brace in Pepperdine's 4-0 win over San Francisco as she gives chase here. Headed forward by Sampson, and the Zags will have a chance to clear their lines. Lauren Chin does just that. Riley tried to get on the end of a clever idea from Alexander. It'll be a Pepperdine throw. So Waldeck's 11 leads the way for the Waves in terms of goals. Tatum Winalda started the year on fire, had 2 goals in her first 2 games. They were both massive goals as well. Equalizers against very quality opposition here at Terry Fromm Rokas Field. Those goals came against Georgetown and Michigan. Then kind of had a goal-scoring drought as Waldeck looks for the run of Quinones, headed away by the Bulldogs. Well, this game has a little extra juice to it. You can just feel it up here. This is a WCC championship game. Big crowd, too, for Pepperdine standards. Really nice crowd here out at Terry Fromm Rokas Field on just a perfect Saturday. Tatum Winalda, 4 goals in her last 5 games after a goal-scoring drought of 10 games in the middle of the season. She has been back in top form, and that's why she got the start today. Gets a boot to that, but it will trickle out for a Lauren Town goal kick for Gonzaga. This is a Gonzaga team that got here in large part because they beat number 15 at the time, Santa Clara, the team picked to win this conference, a perennial powerhouse in the WCC and the country. They beat them 1-0. And to put it into perspective, the way, it's funny Chris Watkins describing it this way. The way he described it in a quote was, it's like Santa Clara's basketball team beating Gonzaga's basketball team. And Zags fans will get that reference. Riley already has a goal to her name. Was just the second win all time for Gonzaga against Santa Clara. Came this season to get them in this position. Cross coming in from Garcia. It finds nobody. It'll only find a goal kick for Taylor Rath. Gonzaga has never won 6 WCC games in a single season. They would have to do that today. This would be their 6th win in conference play, and it would give them their first conference championship in program history. They've mostly played a kind of a 4-2-3-1 where their left back and right back aren't afraid to get forward and kind of leave some space possibly at the back, but they're not afraid to just send bodies up the wing, and it's led to a conference high 52 goals. Riley sends this in looking for Garcia. It's over her head. She'll give chase just to keep it in play. Waves throw. These two teams last played on Wednesday. For Gonzaga, they were at home against LMU. It was a 1-1 draw. They got the equalizer in literally the 90th minute. A win in that game, and Gonzaga would have really only needed a tie today. The draw versus a loss didn't really do much. Gonzaga has the goal difference advantage right now, but the stage is set. It's clear. You have to have a champion determined on this field today. Pepperdine a win or a tie. Gonzaga right now sitting on that 1-0 lead, a win, thanks to Riley's 4th-minute goal. Quinones trying to clear. Chelsea Lee plays it back for Kelsey Euler here at left back, who will whip in across. She leads this team in crosses attempted and successful crosses this year. Riley far side. Sitting on a goal. Riley, dangerous ball across the face of goal. Garcia gives chase. Keeps the possession alive. Dancing with Quinones. Pepperdine throw. I gave you a bit of the tail of the tape for Gonzaga this season. That win at home over Santa Clara gave them a chance today. They were 1-25-3 all time against Santa Clara heading into that game. That is how big of an upset that was. One win in 29 tries heading into that game on October 29th, and they took down the Broncos. Let's give you the Pepperdine journey a little bit here as Rath tries to settle the nerves right now for the Waves. Pepperdine started their season here at Terry Fromm Rokas Field. And Tim Ward, as this will be on the end line Pepperdine throw, Tim Ward is not afraid to schedule tough. He opened the season with Georgetown and Michigan. Georgetown was top 25 at that time. Michigan always a power in the Big Ten. Pepperdine drew both of those games. Then had a very tough road trip. They had to go to LSU. They tied there in a hurricane. That game was delayed for like 2 hours. They went to Illinois, lost that game. And then UCLA, that loss. Waldeck looking for Quinones. Winalda. Duckett, about 30 yards away. Engie intercepted, taken away by Lee for the Zags. And she'll play it back for Euler here at left back. Euler boots it up. Flick on from Garcia. Finds Alexander. Run being made. It's Warta. A lot of space to work. She can find Riley. She will. Flag stays down. Right at Taylor Rath in the end. The flag never went up. The Waves were calling for it. But it's not about the power of those shots. It's about the direction. And that time it was straight at the Pepperdine keeper. Well done by Taylor Rath there. And even better to keep it in play, not allow a Pepperdine, or excuse me, a Gonzaga corner off of that attempt by Riley, who already has a goal to her name. Back to Pepperdine story time. It's really the last 6 games. That's where the Waves have found themselves, their identity. They played 3-4 different formations. They'd have players in and out of the lineup. Injuries here, injuries there. Winalda wasn't 100%. Taylor Bloom, who started today at center back, was not 100% to start the year, was out for the first few games. So it's been a revolving door. And then, of course, I can't not mention losing Cam Pickett for the entire season. She had been arguably the best Wave through the first few games of the year. Pepperdine lost her to a leg injury. And yet the Waves, over the last month, October, they found a way to play their best soccer. They need their best soccer here over the last 75 minutes of the regular season. This foul will go against the Waves. We'll see if we go to the pocket. I think it'll just be a stern talking to. as the secret stuff comes out. There's the spray bottle telling us where that ball should be. Look here at this foul as Quinones just came crashing in with the left shoulder and caught Kelsey Euler. It'll be Grace Quarter on the left foot standing over this. Dangerous position with a three-person Pepperdine wall in front of her. Quarter looking for Riley back post, battling with Bloom. Flag goes up. Offside call. Waves goal kick. Pepperdine started WCC play with a loss to the aforementioned Santa Clara Broncos. Since then, not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, 6 straight for the Waves. The most impressive of which for me was that home win over Portland, a 3-1 win right here in the Boo. And then going on the road and just demolishing San Francisco on Wednesday to set themselves up here at home. 4-0 win in that. Tori Waldeck on the ball right now. She had 2 goals on Wednesday. Low cross sent in, cleared away by the Bulldogs. Pepperdine throw. The Waves haven't had their first clear chance of the match, and you know that one is coming. Like I said, they have not been in this position for a long time, giving up an early goal and having to adjust to that. It wasn't going to be easy. You knew that. But right now, through 16 and a half, no shots for the Waves at all. Not even just a shot on goal, just no shots in general in this match. Garcia will give chase. Pepperdine will have a throw. I talked to Tim Ward about when the season changed, talking to Pepperdine's head coach about the moment that he kind of saw that flip of the switch. And he said it was after that Illinois trip, which was a long road trip. They went to LSU, Illinois, just across the country, had some tough results. They had to play UCLA. And before that UCLA game, they had a very, very difficult practice. Sliding challenge from Quarter. Leonard tries to win out, but the Bulldogs will get to it. This one sent up. Giving chase is Bloom, who will send it out. That very tough practice, Pepperdine set some fitness goals. They were giving up late goals early in the season. They just weren't as fit as some other teams, both just injury-wise and stamina-wise, and Tim Ward noticed it. Had a very difficult fitness test and practice. The Waves set individual goals for themselves in terms of individual fitness, and they've met those goals, and then, of course, they've met their team goals as well. It was that practice before the UCLA game that flipped this season. Another dangerous opportunity here, and we'll see if we go to the pocket just for the secret stuff. No cards. This will be a free kick for the Bulldogs, drawn by number 13, Chelsea Lee, as Maddie Kemp will be in conversation with the goal scorer Riley about who's going to take this. Looks like it will be Riley. Could try to send this direct. Could play it as we see a look at Engie giving chase. And it was actually, it was the foot of Gonzalez that caught. That is how you double a lead. A brace for Riley. The Bulldogs are inching closer to their first championship in program history. Gianna Riley, I said she had the angle to take it direct. That's exactly what she did. This was about the perfect place. If you could literally draw an arrow to where you'd want that ball to land, it's there. I think Rath may have gotten a touch to it, but wasn't enough power to keep it out. The Bulldogs are everywhere right now. All over Pepperdine. 2-0 Gonzaga. We've only played 19 minutes. There's a lot of soccer left. But Riley's been the star of the show. Quinones trying to win out. Riley came in with 9, now tied atop the WCC with 11 goals to her name this year, 2 in the first 19 minutes. Remember, the Waves only need a tie, but what a start. Pepperdine hasn't been here in a long time. I mean, UCLA comes to mind as the last time the Waves were here, but not this quickly. They lost that game 2-0. This is an onslaught from the Bulldogs right now. The Waves trying to get one back. Sampson has some space to pick out a cross. She does. Lauren Town comes out to collect it before Quinones had other ideas. Clinical from Gianna Riley. She's had 2 looks at goal. She's found the back of the net twice. As Sampson, this is really the first good chance for the Waves as Gonzaga's trying to add to their chances. Riley sends it in looking for Alexander. It'll find Garcia. Bounces for Taylor Bloom, who will send it only as far as Riley, sitting on a hat trick right now, if she can find the back of the net again. Ball batted out. Gonzaga throw. Riley, only a sophomore. She was all WCC freshman team a year ago. This is a program that has been on the rise under Chris Watkins. 7th season all-time at Gonzaga, as I believe that's Julia Quinones. And we will call for the trainer here. Quinones stretching out her left leg. See if we can get a look at what happened to JQ at the other end of the field. Pepperdine went with a back 3 to start this match, and Gonzaga has been all over it. As Quinones now up to her feet. That's good to see, but is being helped off. That would be a massive loss at the wrong time for a Waves team that needs at least 2 goals to keep their season rolling here. Quinones being helped off the pitch as these 2 teams will come back out. This Gonzaga team, it's all culminated this year in terms of this 7-year run. It will be fitting to end it with a championship. They've set numerous program records this year. The single season scoring record, the single season team assist record, point total records, top 10 in the country in goals. By the way, number 1 in the country in goals right now is our old friend, the BYU Cougars, who play in the Big 12 championship, their first year in that conference. That game is tonight, BYU Texas. Gonzaga has picked up where they left off, and it's fitting because Chris Watkins, the Gonzaga head coach, came from guess where? BYU. And the sub in for Quinones will be Ava Verplank, creative midfielder for the Waves. Watkins helped BYU to a ton of success. 20-year run there. 17 trips to the NCAA tournament for Watkins when he was a Cougar. Looking for his first as a Zag. Winalda inside the 18, sent away by the Bulldogs. Some bumping, some shoving, no whistling. Dispossessed. Well done by Kelsey Euler. Leonard, right side. A lot of space for Peyton Leonard. Picks out a cross, but it sails behind the face of goal. The Waves have a lot of options on the bench, and I wonder how quickly Tim Ward looks to the substitutes. I can see 5 or 6 Waves right now behind the goal, running around, getting loose. One thing this Pepperdine team does have is depth. And if Quinones can't return, they'll have to go to some of that depth to find a way back in after Gianna Riley inched the Zags closer with not one but two first half goals here in Malibu. Here is Riley. Sliding challenge from Sampson will lead to the third Gonzaga corner of the match. Nobody seems too interested to take it right now. Garcia will make the long run over there. One NCAA tournament appearance for this Bulldogs team. That came in 2005. They've never won an NCAA tournament game. Lost to USC in 05, 1-0. Of course, an automatic bid today if they hold on to 3 points. Garcia looking for a third. Back post. Header sent in. I think it was Kemp on the end of it. Never challenged. Taylor Rath.
Junior, number 12, Caroline Coleman.
Speaking of that Pepperdine bench, here comes Caroline Coleman.
Number 23, Kira Murphy.
Along with Kyra Murphy. Two very creative players, attacking minded. Murphy had a 40, 50-yard run. There's Murphy to set up one of Tori Waldeck's goals on the Hilltop on Wednesday at San Francisco. Caroline Coleman had a nasty free kick. Kind of reminds me of Riley's a little bit. She had that goal against San Diego in a 7, yes, count them, 7-0 Pepperdine win. So two players that can create offensively for Tim Ward coming on. Waldeck gives chase. It's going to be dangerous for Town, and she will wisely just get it out of harm's way. All the pressure to me, and this is just being around this campus, talking to this team this week, they didn't want it to be on them, but it did feel like the pressure was on the Waves. I will say this about the most dangerous lead in soccer. Everybody knows that if you're a FIFA player. 2-0. Waldeck, Town was moving the other way, and for a second I thought that might dive back in, but Town collects. I will say this, if Pepperdine finds the third goal in this game and it gets to 2-1, the pressure really ramps back up on the Zags. Garcia, closed down but gets through a Pepperdine C. Sprays it out wide. Edge of the box. Ball sent in from Kemp, deflected by the Waves, and here they come the other way. Coleman will get her first touch. Good ball for Engie. Well done for Verplank. There's not a lot of orange jerseys running with her. It was really only Waldeck up against 2 or 3 Zags. It's pretty un-Pepperdine-like there. Usually you see some runners on the right, left, just darting in from defense. The Waves can switch defense to offense so fast. They have all year. Taylor Bloom safely back to the other Taylor. Rath sends it long. It's been Riley's show. No whistle, now it does come. Foul goes on Riley. 3 shots, all 3 of them have been on goal for the Zags. 2 goals to show for it. The Waves just 1 shot. It was a shot on goal, but it wasn't a dangerous one from Alex Sampson. Engie tried to get on the end of it, could not. Goal kick, Lauren Town. It's a Pepperdine team that averages just under 14 shots a game. They're nowhere near that number, obviously. Gonzaga averaging nearly 19. Their potent offense has been on display early. It's hard to fault Taylor Rath for either of the goals as well. Waldeck leaves it, and Town gets on the end of it. It was Murphy at the back post who had a chance. It didn't have quite enough power behind it, and Town got down quickly for her first big save of the match. But some energy and some clapping here from the Pepperdine faithful. A little bit of hope maybe. It's still I can't believe how early it is in this game. 28th minute right now. Feels like we've been playing for 2 hours, to be honest. It's because every second just counts a little bit more when there's a championship on the line. Garcia dancing with Leonard, who pokes it out. Cleared back only as far as quarter. Kelsey Euler, well done to pick out Kemp, who has a lot of options in front of her. Inside the 18, Kemp dancing on her right foot. Cuts it back. Oh, Taylor Bloom took it. Took it for the team. Still Gonzaga. Alexander back for Kemp. Boots it in long. Rath will have it. And Pepperdine will get out of trouble. Taylor Bloom, you talk about wearing one. Putting your body on the line. The Zags again, they are just everywhere right now. Kemp, right at Taylor Rath. I can't remember the last time, maybe Harvard early in the year, where a game here, Terry Fromm Rokas Field, was basically all played in Pepperdine's defensive third. And that's how it's been. Riley adding to that. A lot of space for her to send it across for Garcia! Inches away from three. She couldn't keep it down. What a cross from Gianna Riley, excuse me, who has just been a world beater so far. Marissa Garcia got on the end of it, and if she had found the target, I think that was a third. You see how an early goal can just completely rattle a team. Change the entire feel here at Terry Fromm Rokas Field. That 4th minute goal from Riley. The flick on, Murphy gives chase. Well done by Gonzalez to win it for Verplank, who has some options. Picks out a good one with Coleman. Now a 3-on-3 forming for the Waves. Waldeck, extra pass. It was just behind the run of Murphy. Coleman, Verplank on her left foot. Won't get the power behind it. Bounces all the way out to Waldeck, who was dispossessed by the Bulldogs. Well done to get out of harm's way for the Zags. Garcia will give chase. Rath nearly out of her box, but it will roll into the safe hands of the keeper. Goals have not been the problem for the Waves on this 6-game win streak, but they have not found themselves in a position quite like this. Half an hour gone. Still Euler, the captain for Gonzaga, wearing that green armband. Flicks it back for Garcia, who scurries around Leonard. Garcia, that was nifty, cleared away. It was Karina Gonzalez that got on the end of it for Pepperdine, and Leonard will let this go out for a Gonzaga throw. We'll see changes, one for either side here. See if they come on this throw or we wait. Pepperdine will make their change now. Engie will come off. It will be Kendall Campbell on for the Waves.
Coming in for the Waves, number 21, Kendall Campbell.
Kendall's 16th appearance, all of those off the bench this year.
Coming in for the Bulldogs, number 8.
Also has an eye for goal, an attacking mindset. Took and scored a penalty here at Terry Fromm Rokas Field just a few weeks ago. A couple goals to her name this year. Duckett heads it for Verplank, kind of dangerously into the box. Coleman will calm things down. Well done to find Waldeck. Waldeck has a lot of room. Torrey, the WCC's leading goal scorer, plays off for Verplank. Verplank for Coleman, who corrals it. Playing touch with Murphy. Pepperdine throw. Now, I don't want to get too into the weeds with this yet, but it will become a big story as we move into this second half if the score stays what it is right now. I do think both these teams are safe in terms of getting in on Monday to the NCAA tournament. Pepperdine played such a tough schedule. Right now, Santa Clara actually has the highest RPI, which is a very important ranking metric that the NCAA uses to decide who gets into that 64-team field on Monday. Santa Clara is at 28th in the country, ranked right now. Gonzaga is at 34, Pepperdine at 36. But like I said, the Waves, their strength of schedule was ridiculous to start the year, and it's allowed them to go on this run. Murphy on a run herself right now, inside of the 18. Murphy sends it long for Tori Waldeck. Best chance of the game for the Waves. Waldeck had a chance for her 12th. Another sub for the Bulldogs, number 21, Caitlin Rigg. The freshman will come on. The Bulldogs bring a lot of freshmen off the bench. As we get another look at this, Murphy has been a real spark plug since coming on. Waldeck just sent wide, and Campbell couldn't find the end of it. Waldeck couldn't find the back of the net. But still, better from the Waves, and it was really led by the substitute, Murphy. Gonzaga wins the throw. If it all goes the WCC's way, I think Santa Clara, Gonzaga, and Pepperdine will all be playing in the NCAA tournament, but it is not a sure thing if the Waves lose this game that they will hear their name called on Monday. It's the old adage, you're on the bubble. It's a place nobody really wants to be. Shelby Runge onto the pitch, another freshman. As I said, the Zags just kind of load the freshmen in off the bench. The future's bright for this team. Runge has been one of the better freshmen. She started 5 matches. This is her 18th appearance, so she has played in every game. 5 goals to her name. Long throw coming from Euler. Euler will send it across on the left foot. Rath, well done to collect in front of the flying Bulldogs. And she'll play quickly for Campbell, who gets by one and loses out to a second. Sliding challenge, won back by the Bulldogs. Chin plays it right side. In between a sandwich of Waves, and Pepperdine comes away with possession. Verplank. Campbell. The Bulldogs are getting some turf burns in the last minute or two. Sliding all over the place right now. You feel this is a massive 10 minutes of this game. 10 minutes left in the first half, a little under that. If Pepperdine can find the back of the net before the half, it really changes Tim Ward's feeling this halftime talk. The Waves only need a tie. Of course, if the Zags hold on to this lead, even add to it, Chris Watkins is going to be a happy man at the break. Campbell battling on that far side. Won by the Waves, looking for the run of Waldeck. Taken back by the Bulldogs, only as far as Romero up for Coleman, and now things possibly breaking for the Waves. Murphy's making a run on the far side. Can Coleman find her? Yes, she can. Here's Murphy one-on-one with Euler. Murphy. Cat and mouse. Murphy taken back by Euler. A lot of head fakes, a lot of jabs, a lot of dancing. The cha-cha, the salsa, the merengue, whatever you want to call it. It ended up with Gonzaga possession. Looked like a FIFA street game there for a sec.
And subbing in for the Waves, number 25,
Katie Borg onto the pitch for Pepperdine here. She often will see some minutes at the end of halves for Tim Ward. Has been good in midfield. Coleman looking for Murphy, who has been probably the most dangerous Wave. She came off the bench, but she has created some of the chances. Six wins in a row for the Waves. It's all been so easy. Just everything has gone their way. Every bounce, every touch, every result. The first 4 minutes of this match really changed that with Riley's early goal, and then she found a second on a direct free kick. Gonzaga 2, Pepperdine 0. Asherlow with you here on Championship Saturday. The Bulldogs right now in the driver's seat for their first conference championship in program history. The Waves need a win or a tie to lift the trophy on their home field. Romero for Campbell. Gonzalez. She has Verplank to her left if she wants it. Coleman will find Verplank. Murphy's making a run. Direct run for Tori Waldeck, who's inside the 18. Waldeck on the left foot, saved by Town. This is Pepperdine soccer. That looks a little bit like what I've seen the last few weeks. The overlap run from Waldeck. She decided to take it direct, really didn't have the angle. Maybe could have tried to go near post. I'm nitpicking. She's the best, arguably the best player in this league. Still a good effort to fire at Town. The Bulldogs looking for three. Runji plays it back. Gonzaga a chance, deflected back. Rigg plays it out. Looking for an angle to cross, closed down by Karina Gonzalez, very well for the Waves. Waldeck, not a lot of orange jerseys getting back to run with her. Kendall Campbell, she'll play it backwards. Not a great idea from Campbell there, was trying to find Coleman in space. The Bulldogs have it back where they've had it the majority of this half. Will the flag stay down? Not gonna matter. Goal kick, Pepperdine. And two more subs for the Waves. It'll be Erin Ziley and Melina Levatas. Levatas, pacey, attacking-minded player. Ziley often sliding into a midfield role, maybe left back, although the Waves staying with what looks like a back three, just from my vantage point right now. Back three of Leonard, Bloom, and Romero, so Ziley slides over on that left wing. Flick on for the Bulldogs. A lot of subs on the pitch right now with just under 5 minutes to go in our first half. It's been all Gonzaga. Pepperdine really hasn't had a super clear goal-scoring opportunity. Can they find one here through Murphy? Oiler's been tough to beat, and she proves tough again. Sliding down, no whistle. Everything's clean. Pepperdine throw. A lot of yells to Karen Collado from the Pepperdine faithful here. And an injury here. This will be Euler, who has been tremendous for the Bulldogs here early, the left back who covers maybe more ground than anybody on the pitch in a white jersey. She has been sending in crosses from the left wing. She has been defending like the season depends on it, which, oh, by the way, it does. Leonard, the long throw specialist, sends it in. Levatas' first touch, has a chance in front of goal for Plank. That is a first touch if I've ever seen one from Melina Levatas, who all of a sudden was staring down Lauren Town. You see what a danger the Peyton Leonard long throw can be. Look at how long this throw is. She launches that thing. Levatas turned. It was a great first touch. Oh, it was a brilliant save. Watching that replay, the right foot of Town. What a stop. Didn't catch it live. That was a brilliant save. That thing was goal bound for Levatas. First full season as the starting keeper for Lauren Town, who was named WCC Defensive Player of the Week last week after her 7th shutout of the year in that 1-0 win, upset win over Santa Clara. And you see why she won WCC Defensive Player of the Week. You can't even see her in that all neon. Blinded Levatas in front of the face of goal. That's the best Pepperdine chance so far. All of a sudden, the Waves feel like they've found some of their footing here in the last 10 minutes. The subs have helped. Here's Gonzalez from Verplank. Gonzalez tried to find Levatas. It'll bounce perfectly. Coleman on the left foot at Town. Never was really going to challenge. the Gonzaga keeper. That was actually Xiley on that far left side who has switched places with Gonzalez, pardon me, over the last few minutes. But it was Coleman who had the final look at it. That was Xiley laying it off for Caroline on the left foot. We've seen her score from distance this year. Her lone goal came from distance off of a free kick. The subs have brought the juice.
Coming in for the Bulldogs, number 28, Emily Todd.
Emily Todd coming on for Gonzaga. Once again, a freshman off that bench, number 28, defender. One of the plethora of true freshmen that Coach Watkins can go to off the pine. Katie Borg will let it bounce for Gonzalez. Verplank looking for the run of Murphy. And the Waves now really going to challenge that right side. Euler not on the pitch. She has been doing some really good defending, but went down with an injury just a minute ago. Here's Xiley, who made things happen a moment ago. Booted out, but Pepperdine has a throw with just over 2 minutes left in this first half. Here's Coleman with some hold-up play. Interesting idea to just lob it up in the 18. Xiley. Xiley twisting and turning, plays give and go with Caroline Coleman. Xiley into the middle of the 18, booted out by the Zags. Pepperdine will keep it in their attacking zone. Some prolonged possession for the Waves right now in their attacking third. Just trying to find their footing in a game that Gianna Riley took by storm early. Both goals coming from number 5 in white. It's Riley 2, Pepperdine nothing right now. Xiley on the far side. Looks for Levatas. Bouncing for Gonzalez. Pepperdine can just find one. All that momentum, all the pressure swings in this game. Can they find one before the half? Just over 60 seconds to do it before the whistle.
1 minute remaining in this
1
half.
minute now in this first half. The Zags looking to push the other way, but Leonard has other ideas for the Waves. Leonard hounded by a pair of Bulldogs. Plays back for Murphy. Murphy linking up with Leonard, who lost it out of play. As Willow Collins, who just came on to replace Euler, will throw it in. Rigg plays it back. The Bulldogs keeping some possession here with 20 seconds left in the half. They're probably content to just take it to the locker room. They look that way right now. No rush from Chelsea Lee. The Waves shot count now rising. 6 shots for the Waves compared to 5 for the Bulldogs. But the shots that matter have gone Gonzaga's way. 3 seconds left in the half, and that will do it for our first 45. The story is Riley. In the 4th minute, opening the scoring, and then a direct free kick just a few minutes later to give Gonzaga a 2-0 lead that has them on the brink of their first WCC championship in program history. The Waves only need a tie, and that is not too much to ask for from a Waves team that has had one of the better offenses over the last couple weeks in the nation in college soccer. Pepperdine needs some magic in the final 45. They've had it here at Terry Fromm Rokas Field before. We'll see if they can conjure it up again. We'll get some first half highlights, stats, and more coming your way. Stay with us here through the half on ESPN+. Well, whatever was said pregame by Tim Ward, by Chris Watkins, it basically went out the window in the first 5 minutes of this match. That's what an early goal does. Gonzaga leading Pepperdine 2-0 in a de facto WCC championship game here in Malibu. Gianna Riley was the story this break, and a clinical finish to go with it. That was the moment that got the Zags started. Halftime highlights brought to you by University Credit Union. Pepperdine alumni, staff, and students, remember to bank with your brain and join University Credit Union. Visit ucu.org today. The Zags drew some fouls as well. Taylor Rath made a couple big stops because nearly all of the pressure felt like it was in the attacking third of Gonzaga, and that effort doubled the lead. It doesn't get much better than that in terms of a direct free kick. Pepperdine had a couple moments late Julia Quinones went down with an injury. We'll see if she can return. This was one of those moments, but it wasn't enough for the Waves in that first half. They only need a tie. This thing is not over yet. Pepperdine, an early goal maybe in the second half, first 15 or 20 minutes. This thing could look very, very different for the final quarter of the 90. But right now, the Bulldogs in the front seat on their way to their first West Coast Conference Championship in program history. We'll bring you the Rusnak BMW play of the game. And instead of talking about the upcoming schedule, I'll talk about some NCAA tournament shenanigans. Gonzaga 2, Pepperdine 0. Welcome back to Malibu. About halfway through this halftime period is Gonzaga, number 19 team in the country, on the brink of their first WCC championship in program history because of plays like this. Rusnak BMW play of the game. The ultimate driving machine is just through the canyon. If you're ready for a BMW, we're closer than you think. Ready now? Click or call Rusnak BMW in Thousand Oaks. We'll actually get you that Gianna Riley free kick in just a moment. ESPN Plus, as the Waves look to try to get back into it, down 2-0. ESPN Plus asks for help to people affected by Hurricane Idalia. Donate at redcross.org/ESPN to help the Red Cross respond and help people recover. Your donation enables the Red Cross to prepare for, respond to, and help people recover from this disaster, and will provide people in communities affected with food, water, emergency shelter, and relief supplies. Welcome back to Malibu. Gonzaga leading Pepperdine 2-0 right now in this essentially WCC championship game here at Terry Fromm Rokas Field. Rusnak BMW play of the game from that first half. The ultimate driving machine is just through the canyon. If you're ready for a BMW, we're closer than you think. Rusnak BMW in Thousand Oaks. It's that easy. Rusnak is proud to sponsor Pepperdine Waves women's soccer. Guess who? Gianna Riley, who right now came into this game with 9 goals, is now tied atop the WCC with Tori Waldeck at 11 goals because of the second one that you just saw. Direct free kick. Gonzaga had all the pressure in their attacking third, won a couple dangerous free kicks, and the sophomore Riley decided to take that one on herself, challenge Rath, just put it in the perfect spot. Coming up in just a bit, we'll talk NCAA storylines because I don't think the tournament is a done deal if you're Pepperdine on Monday. Monday selection show, I'll get into what that means, how it all goes down, how it works. Both of these teams could very well find themselves, regardless of the result today, in that 64-team NCAA tournament field. Gonzaga 2, Pepperdine 0, just before the start of the second half here in Malibu. Gonzaga 2, Pepperdine 0. 40 seconds left till we begin the second half of play. Pepperdine needs a tie, or of course a win, to win this conference. Gonzaga right now sitting with a chance to win it as you get a look at the women's soccer standings. Pepperdine on 18 points right now, or 19, excuse me. Gonzaga sitting 2 points behind them. Of course, a win vaults the Zags into first place and gives them their first conference championship in program history. The NCAA tournament is the goal for both these teams right now as well. 337 D1 soccer teams, 64 of them will hear their name called on Monday in the single elimination NCAA tournament. A lot like the basketball setup. One game and you're done. 33 of those are at-large bids. 31 of them are conference champions. One, of course, conference champion will be decided right here, right now, in these 45 minutes from the WCC. But Pepperdine, right now it will be Pepperdine. Gonzaga as well. Both have a really good chance to be an at-large, even if they don't win the conference championship here today. The Waves at 36 in the RPI right now in the country. Gonzaga at 34. You kind of want to be in that top 40 to really have a good shot on Monday. That selection show, remember, Monday for both Gonzaga and Pepperdine fans. Tune in to find out where you will land. Not the worry right now for Coach Watkins, for Coach Ward. Right now, 45 minutes left in the regular season. And the woman on the ball right now, Riley, has been the difference. Her 2 goals have Gonzaga inching closer. But the Waves have other ideas, and they have been in the best form we've seen Pepperdine soccer in probably since 2021, late in that season. They made a Sweet 16 run that year. Last year, a lot of injuries for the Waves. This year they started, and Tim Ward told me it was basically a continuation of some of the injuries suffered last year that were still lingering at the start of this year when Pepperdine played such a difficult schedule to open. But they finally got healthy, and once they did, you've seen the results. Rattling off 6 wins in a row to get here Saturday, November 4th. Saturday, November 4th, an interesting date. The last time Pepperdine won this title, the WCC title, was 2017. That came in a home game, a win over Portland, 4-0 win on a Saturday, November 4th. The first 45 have not gone to that Hollywood script, though, so far, if you're a Pepperdine fan. The last 10 minutes were more promising. The first 20 to 30 were just dominated by the team in white. Suffocating attack, an attack that has been one of the best in the nation all year. And I don't expect them to just park the bus, which is basically what LMU did to this Gonzaga team on Wednesday this week. And that's how they earned that draw in Spokane. I don't expect Coach Watkins, it's not his style to park the bus. It wouldn't be Tim Ward's either. Both of these teams are offensive-minded for sure. Romero has a notion, tried to slip it in for Xylee. A lot of subs here to start the second half, and I think Tim Ward saw what I saw in terms of the energy coming from the bench late in that first 45 as Engi has it deflected. The Bulldogs on the ball now. Leonard charging, tried to find Xylee. It was intercepted by Lauren Chin. Here's Huerta trying to squirt through Coleman. Coleman goes to the turf, foul on Huerta, and Gonzaga. Duckett looking to take it quick, and she does. Just one goal, and the Waves are all of a sudden right back in the thick of this. They only need a tie, and how big does that seem right now that you need 2 instead of 3? That, of course, is because of that result on Wednesday for both of these teams, where Pepperdine beat San Francisco at the Hilltop 4-0, and Gonzaga drew with LMU. These two teams were even on points heading into Wednesday. Bulldogs throw here on the near side. Chin will take it. Waldeck will chase with Town. Maybe handing the cookie jar there for Waldeck. She was breathing down Town's possession, but the Zags come away unscathed. For the moment, some space here for the Waves to work, but it's given away by Murphy. If you can think of an offensive stat, Gonzaga probably is leading it in the West Coast Conference, and they showed you that. The defense has been susceptible at times. Coleman. Caroline Coleman tried to flick it in for Waldeck. Murphy comes charging in. Cleared as far as Garcia, who can't keep it in play. Pepperdine will have a throw. Really curious to see if we get to see Julia Quinones, who has been arguably, not named Tori Waldeck, the best Wave of this run over the last month. She went down with an injury in the first half. Hope to see her back on the field at some point. Duckett. Easy for Town. When I asked Tim Ward about the San Francisco game, he basically said that the Dons came out better than the Waves and that they were, quote, fortunate not to go a goal down early. Well, the Zags certainly came out the better of the two sides, and Pepperdine not as fortunate today. Riley scoring in the 4th minute really changed everything here as the flag goes up on the far side. Offside call against Gianna Riley. Coming into today, all 9 goals for Riley were scored in non-conference play. So she has not scored in WCC play. And then how about a brace in the first half to end that drought? Waves fans will be biting their nails on Monday night if this score holds. I know because I have a few connects in the Pepperdine Athletic Department that the Waves did not submit a bid to host. So Pepperdine is on the road. This is their last home game no matter what happens today or in the selection show. To travel to a place like Florida State, always a tough place to go play. But right now, of course, everything's still in front of the Waves in terms of a WCC crown. It's just a long climb to get there. A bit tougher than it looked about an hour ago. Bloom for Waldeck. Tori Waldeck turns, still Waldeck. Somehow still Waldeck. Bounces for Ava Verplank, who can't keep it down. Verplank will chase it down and find Taylor Bloom. And the Waves all of a sudden have some sustained possession. It's not as quick, though. It's not as snappy, as flowing as some of the Pepperdine offense we've seen on this run. Waldeck goes down, no whistle. And the Zags come away with it through Garcia, who has been, quote, the unsung hero, number 11 on that far left side, according to Chris Watkins this year. Leonard, well done from the freshman. Nearly gave it right back, but Coleman comes out. And Euler back onto the pitch. She was everywhere in the first half. The captain is back after an injury scare at the end of the first half for the Zags. Euler, the career and single season all-time Gonzaga leading assist person. As the offside flag is up, Pepperdine will have a goal kick, and Euler has been, it's not just the assists, she's fourth in the NCAA in that category with 12 this year, but it's also been the defense to me that's been so impressive, playing left back, giving a lot of freedom, does Watkins to Euler on that left side to get up and down and do her defensive duties, and she's done them very, very well through this first half and change. Just one moment of magic. Just one. And Waldeck trying to give it to the Waves. Numbers coming in support, Tori Waldeck. Waldeck looking for an angle. Cutting back, still Waldeck on the left foot for Plank. Did she get it? It doesn't really matter. Oh no. Offside flag up. Offside flag's up. The flag is up.
Goal for the Waves, number 20, Tori
Flag is up on the far side. Goal will not count. Wow. We don't have VAR, so this is our VAR look. Waldeck, and you can't really tell there. The question is if Verplank, I think the call is Verplank offside. I don't think it's crashing into the keeper. Now remember, it doesn't matter if she got a touch on it or not. If she's making a play at the ball there and involved in that, the offside flag goes up. The touch is irrelevant. Wow. Almost positive it was an offside call. I'll try to get confirmation. We are far up here, but looked like the flag went up on the run of Verplank. It's listed here as a shot by Waldeck and a save by Town, but that thing was in the back of the net, so that's the official score right now. I'm sure that'll change and update. That was nearly the moment of magic until the bright-colored flag ruined our party. And here comes Karina Gonzalez and Tatum Winalda. I think it was probably a good call, to be honest, because either it was the most well-timed run in the history of soccer or Verplank was well off. I'm no offside expert. I'm not going to get the rule book out and try to nitpick it. It's not my job here, and of course I said no VAR, and there are some schools that have VAR. It really depends on your budget. Illinois, for example, Pepperdine went down there to play, and there was a penalty that was reviewed with VAR, video-assisted replay for the non-soccer nerds at home. All that matters right now is the score stays 2-0. But a much better 10-minute start for the Waves than we saw in the first 10 minutes of this match. You can see the attacking quality is certainly there. Kemp on the right, sprays it out. It'll be Chin. Finds a cross, Chin only finds Rath. There's a huge crowd here, and I'm telling you, one goal is going to absolutely change the entire feel of this thing, and I can feel it coming right now for the Waves. This is the best onslaught they've had. I mean, the ball literally found the back of the net. It was Tori Waldeck's brilliance that created that chance, as we've said so many times this year about Waves chances and Waves goals. Tori Waldeck and brilliant have become synonymous this year for Pepperdine soccer. Winalda, who's in great form right now, 4 goals in her last 5 games, tried to find Xiley and could not. Well done in the end from the Gonzaga defense, and here is Riley sitting on a hat trick. She's going to have a tsunami of Waves to get through. 4 orange shirts around her, and she will play Drogba ball and just waste some time over there on the right corner flag. As Chin will come up to take this throw. The Waves 9 behind the ball right now, just trying to defend. Kemp does keep that in play, but only to find Rath and a possible counter opportunity for the Waves if they want to work quick, and they do. Murphy on the right side has some support. She finds Waldeck. Tori Waldeck. Still Waldeck. Around 3 Zags. Waldeck plays it in the middle. It's Gonzalez. A chance. Murphy! The Waves are back in it. Fitting that it's Murphy, who has been arguably the best Wave today. The last touch was from Murphy. Gonzalez, after Waldeck's brilliance, found Murphy. No offside flag there because there's 2 Zags behind Murphy for the finish. What a brilliant play from Karina Gonzalez, who instead of taking that shot on with Town in her face, slid it in for Murphy. Game on. Tic-tac-toe. Waldeck, Gonzalez, Murphy. And I kept saying to myself, the first 2 goals for Gonzaga, there's so much time left in this match. And it's proving to be the case. Pepperdine's already back in it. We have 32 minutes. Remember, I'll say it for the 1,000th time, Pepperdine only needs a tie. And they're halfway home in that respect, but Gonzaga has been dangerous offensively. What a team goal. And it came just 2 minutes after the disappointment of the Waves finding the back of the net and the flag going up on the far side. Tori Waldeck just has a magnet on her right foot. She just keeps possession. I have no idea how, but she does. Leonard. Still Leonard. Still Leonard. Optimistic. I mean, when you run 30 yards, I guess you have the green light. Why not? As somebody in basketball once said, I'd rather go 0 for 9 or 0 for 30 than 0 for 9 because that means I didn't stop shooting. not going to tell you which NBA player that was. Gonzaga 2, Pepperdine 1. Duckett lays it down. Still Duckett. Here's Winalda back onto the pitch. Sliding challenge, no whistle. Ball booted up into the air. Bloom, that was nifty to get it around two Zags who were closing down quickly. Well done by Taylor Bloom, acrobatic to get it out of trouble. 7 shots for the Waves, 5 for the Zags, but the 2-1 Gonzaga lead thanks to Riley's brace. Gonzalez, who had a brilliant assist on the goal, trying to return the favor for Waldeck, who found her for the Waves opener. Was Murphy's second goal of the year in her 18th appearance, has played in every game. 5 starts for Murphy, who had a fantastic assist as little bowling ball action there on the far side. It's getting physical. This is a championship game. No whistle. And you know what? I don't really mind it. Let's get physical here. 90 minutes to decide a champion. I don't hate it. I'm also not playing, so that's easy to say. Willow Collins returns. She replaced Euler for a moment when Euler went down, and now she will replace her again, sliding in at left back, who Euler's been arguably the best Zag on the pitch. Hard to take that title away from Riley, though. Engie will have some space, and she just kind of takes it first time, but how about we reset things? Skylar Engie. Here's Duckett, who has been a utility worker for this Waves team. She can just play anywhere. Chameleon is Juliana Duckett. Bloom, Winalda holds up. Did she use her hand? The Gonzaga fans certainly thought so to keep that down. Gonzalez, hold up play for Tori Waldeck. Left off for Winalda, blocked by the Bulldogs. Engie, the goal scorer Murphy. Winalda, this is Wave soccer. This ball is moving right now. And everything in Pepperdine's attacking half. Murphy laying one up, the flick on, and it ends up with Town. This looks like the Pepperdine team we've seen throughout October, the team that won 6 games in a row. We've seen them come out to play here in this second half, but will it be enough? Right now, that answer would be no. It would be Tim Ward's 5th WCC conference title if the Waves can find another goal or perhaps 2 or 3 more. As number 8, Kyle Lee comes on, the sophomore out of Spokane. Into the midfield for Gonzaga. Hold up play from Riley. Call for handball. Throw in Pepperdine. I'll say Tim Ward's quote again. You've got one game at the beginning of the year for the championship. You take that every single time. That is what the Pepperdine head coach said, and he has been around for a lot of those types of moments here in Malibu. 26 of the 31 seasons at the helm of this program, 297, 145, and 71 ties is his all-time record as Pepperdine head coach. Just 3 wins away from 300. Romero. And you know what? I think you give him your down 1 goal at home with 27 minutes left in the season, you tie, you win the championship. I think he takes that too. That is where we find ourselves on this Saturday. Flag stays down for Garcia. Garcia will run at everybody. Solo act from Garcia on the left. Did it take a deflection? No, it did not. Goal kick Pepperdine. Marissa Garcia, who quote, can make the defenders look silly. And Chris Watkins actually said, can make the defenders look silly, myself included, because he actually does get out there and play with them quite a bit in training. Tried to make the Waves look silly there, could not. A moment like this has never happened in Gonzaga soccer history, and it goes further than just saying they've never won the West Coast Conference Championship. They've never had the last game of the season come down to, if you win, you're champions. Murphy, who has been absolutely everywhere for the Waves, loses out, closed down by the Zags. This crowd is into it. Almost everybody's standing here on the fire lane at Pepperdine. And I don't think they're going to sit down for the next 25 minutes. Romero for Rath. As the Waves search for a goal that's worthy of a championship. I did not have Pepperdine Player of the Game, Kyra Murphy, on my bingo card today, but it has certainly played out that way. Willie Wave is in town here. I see him right behind the Pepperdine faithful. It's a party in Malibu, but the Waves have to keep the party going with one more goal. Sampson will have a throw here on the near side. Once again, the ball finds its way into Pepperdine's attacking half. Most of the half, I should say, has been spent in the Waves' third. Very different tale from the first 30 or so minutes of this contest that allowed the Zags to get out to that 2-0 lead. Winalda, almost like a center fielder, shagging that fly ball, but loses out for a Gonzaga throw.
Subbing in for the Bulldogs, number 21, Caitlin Rigg.
Caitlin Rigg returns for the Bulldogs to play on that right side. Pepperdine looking for their 13th NCAA tournament appearances. 4 of those 12 times, I should say. Won't be 13 until it's signed, sealed, and delivered on Monday. 4 of those 13, they have found themselves in the Sweet 16. The last time, of course, 2021, when they lost to a team that they very well could see again if they get there, in Florida State. Waldeck. Still Waldeck. Will go to the pocket for the first time today. Yellow card is out against Grace Quarter, and Pepperdine will send some bodies forward. Who else? The leading goal scorer in the WCC, Tori Waldeck, who has a great shot at Conference Player of the Year this year. Goes down and earns this free kick for Skylar Engie, who takes nearly all of them for the Waves. Free kicks, corners. Engie leads this team in assists. The senior standing over it. Can't really shoot from this range, but can certainly find an angle for a pass. Engie sends to Leonard, flag goes up. It was well worked. Leonard had a lot of space for a header, but the flag went up before we could have any fun. Offside called against the Waves. Gonzaga has been on the rise. Will they rise all the way to the top today? And they've been just inching closer and closer to the summit of the West Coast Conference. They've never been there. Reached the 10-win plateau for the first time in 2017 in Chris Watkins' first year at the helm. Last season, 5-1-3. They finished 3rd in the West Coast Conference, as this will carry them away. Little double bounce, double doink, if you will. And Taylor Rath will take a goal kick. Sorry if you're an NFL fan and that just brought back nightmares. Gonzaga last year was exactly where Pepperdine might find themselves, or Gonzaga might find themselves if the Waves can tie or win this game. They were on the bubble, pretty firmly on the bubble last year, heading into the selection show on a Monday. And it was fourth place, Portland. Gonzaga was in third last year in the conference. Fourth place, Portland got in over Gonzaga. So some controversy last year for the Zags, kept them out. They can put it in Sharpie today. Waldeck trying to change that. Tori Waldeck looking for an angle to cross, sends it in. The head of Sampson, tapped over the bar by Town. And they'll say it went over without a touch. So it was off target. Town had it covered, I think, anyway. Sampson did get ahead to it. As we get a look at Tori Waldeck, who is big shot, creating the chances. Sampson, it was dipping, just not enough off the top of the bar, and I think Town had it covered. That happened in slow motion. It was like somebody hit pause, and we just kind of slowly wound the TV forward. Everything feels like it's happening at 1,000,000 miles an hour in a game like this, and basically a cup final is the way Max Rook, he's British, the Pepperdine assistant coach, so naturally the cup final. That's what the Brits call it. But he said everything happens so fast in a cup final, and it does happen fast, but until you get a moment like that where the ball is just kind of hanging in the air and the game quite literally hanging in the balance. Waldeck gives chase. She got a deflection on it. It'll land with the Waves, but Town can recover. Engie will try. Trying to catch Town off her line, not a bad idea, of course. When you get those quick giveaways, sometimes the keeper is not ready to get back to the face of goal. So you definitely see what she was thinking, as Kelsey Adams, who Tim Ward said has been one of the best players on the training ground for the Waves in terms of her effort, her determination over the last 2 months, earning some big minutes here up front for the Waves as Pepperdine looks for an equalizer. WCC commissioner, the new commissioner of the West Coast Conference. This is his first full soccer season with us. Stu Jackson, he is here today, and he will present the trophy to one of these two teams. Stu Jackson, of course, legendary NBA career. Basically started the Vancouver Grizzlies franchise, has been with multiple NBA franchises, is in a front office role, head coaching role. Doing a great job with the conference here. Murphy gets in behind. Murphy plays for Waldeck. Tori Waldeck off the feet of Town. Corner Pepperdine. Tori is everywhere. Are you surprised? I am not. That took a deflection, and actually the deflection helped Waldeck. She tried to split the wickets of Town, but could not. Ball comes in, and Lauren Town will somersault on top of it. Remember that save from Town as Gonzaga's looking to counter here. Duckett has to grab, and it was a clear foul. We'll see if advantage was played. Coming crashing in to dispossess was Blumen. Wow, no foul. I mean, we saw that up here. Duckett essentially just had to grab the arm, and I thought there was an advantage played. I guess there wasn't. We just had the perfect angle up here, but I think Karen Collado was behind the play, our lead official. Because look at Duckett. I mean, she has no chance. She literally hangs on for dear life as Caitlin Rigg was bearing down for a third goal. And, well, just a throw. That's all we're going to say. Just a throw. That was a yellow waiting to happen, and probably a very dangerous free kick, if not a penalty, if that was in the box. I don't think it was. I think it was a couple steps out, but well. As here comes Gianna Riley, sitting on 2 goals already. And is she coming on? Is she not coming on? Everybody's confused. Here comes Riley. And scene. "11 shots now for the Waves as that number continues to climb. We have 18 minutes. The clock is stopped at 72:09 right now in Malibu. The clock, of course, stops on situations like that in college soccer, and we don't play any extra time. The clock ends right at 90. We have a countdown, and it ends on the dot. Cross sent in. Bloom gets ahead to it. Riley, is she onside? Is the flag down? It is! It's a hat trick for Gianna Riley, and Gonzaga can taste their first WCC championship in program history. Every single wave in orange is going ballistic right now. And on first look, for good reason, because it looked like Riley was a couple steps off. Remember, no VAR. The Waves begging the assistant referee for anything, and we can't tell from that angle. We need a wider shot. There's no real way to see it, but just from that angle, it's hard to imagine Riley wasn't a couple steps offside. Usually when a play happens like that where, I mean, it's really hard to see without some great technology, and honestly, you need VAR to see something like that. That's why we have VAR now at so many levels. That is a brutal break for Pepperdine, and you flip that on its head, it's a hat trick for Riley, who now leads the WCC in scoring with 12 goals. Wow. So a flag doesn't go Pepperdine's way on one end, and then about 25 minutes later, the flag stays down. Pepperdine needs 2 goals in 16.5 minutes. Pepperdine had all the momentum. That was a wild swing, and I really do think it was offside, but there's no way to say. And you don't want to take anything away from a great header from Riley, who has been the best player on the pitch today. The Zags certainly deserve their lead right now. You saw all 4 Waves on the back line just turn and start screaming at the 4th official at how the flag did not go up. Still time, but it's a tall, tall task now. Flag stays down again for the Zags. Engie will have a chance to get it out of trouble. She will, as she finds Gonzalez, and there's a lot of space for Adams in the middle, but the Waves can't find her. Gianna Riley having the moment of her career, the moment of this Gonzaga soccer program's history right now. A hat trick in what essentially is a cup final on the road. Big time from the sophomore. Sampson, well done. Alex Sampson darting down the left side. Sampson thought about it, had a notion, blocked away. Sampson battling with Amelia Huerta. No whistle. Goal kick. And Ava Verplank will come back on for the Waves, replacing Engie. So your 2 best passers there replacing each other. Verplank, the center attacking mid, slides into the middle of the park. Garcia. Nicely done. It'll be Rigg. Caitlin Rigg trying to hold up the Waves. Gonzalez comes crashing in against Kyle Lee. Waldeck, who has had a phenomenal second half, created the goal for the Waves. She finds Adams here on the left side. We have not seen Quinones back on the pitch. You have to think that her injury is keeping her out right now. Suffered in the first half, and she walked off with the help of a trainer. Won and booted away by Willow Collins there on the left side. Pepperdine will maintain possession.
Coming in for the Bulldogs, number 22, Shelby Rucci.
The Waves will make some subs. It'll be Tatum Winalda and Aaron Ziley on for Pepperdine. Shelby Runji returns for the Bulldogs, so Winalda, who has been one for some late drama this year, is back onto the pitch. Here she is, first touch since returning. Winalda cuts back inside the 18, tried to take it outside of the foot, and Gonzaga will counter the other way. Rigg is calling for it up ahead of everybody, but she won't get it. And the Waves will also make a goalkeeper substitution here as Harley Head comes on for Taylor Rath. Head has appeared late in some of these games for the Waves, and kind of the same script here for Ward that he has used a few times this season. Just maybe trying anything at this point, a different voice, you never know. You really can't fault Taylor Rath, like I said, for any of the 3 Riley goals. Rath has been so good all year for Pepperdine. It's not over yet for the Waves. 12 minutes to find 2 goals. And more importantly, keep the West Coast Conference best offense out of the back of the net as well. What a momentum shift. Pepperdine had everything going their way, and then we can't say for sure, but a call that looked very controversial with Riley. Was she offside? Was she onside? Flag stayed down, and she headed it home for her 3rd goal of the day. Gonzaga's 12 minutes away from punching their ticket to the big dance for the first time in nearly 2 decades. Duckett. Pepperdine will be left sweating on Selection Monday. For Plank. Xiley. Only as far as Bloom, who couldn't handle it. Rigg has some space up top. This is Runge off right side for the hat trick herself. Gonzaga throw. Pepperdine was not healthy to start the year. They played one of the toughest schedules in the country during that stretch where they weren't healthy. Names like Georgetown, UCLA, Michigan, Illinois, and then when they got healthy, they have been one of the best teams in college soccer as Bloom leaves this for Harley Head, her first touch of the ball since coming on. 6 straight wins for the Waves, beating Pacific on the road, St. Mary's on the road, LMU on the road, Portland here at home, San Diego on the road, and San Francisco on the road. 5 of the 6 wins away from Terry Fromm Rokas Field. The RPI is sitting in the mid-30s right now. This team deserves to be an NCAA tournament team. There's no doubt about it for me. Both of these teams do. One will get the auto bid, but the WCC should have 3. Santa Clara should be in, and both of these sides should be in. But it's not up to me. It's not up to us fans of this conference. It's up to the selection committee on Monday. Bloom for Duckett. Verplank has a lot of space in front of her. Verplank fires it back to Ava. Goes down, no whistle. Gonzaga running the other way. Intercepted by Xiley. Verplank will have another go at it. Xiley. The Waves need something quick in the worst way right now. Under 10 minutes to play in Malibu. Chris Watkins and the Bulldogs can sense it. Verplank. Hold up for Waldeck. Tori spinning on her left foot. Did it touch a hand? I don't think so. Town will wait, and then pick it up. Little legal time wasting there from Town. Coach Watkins, before this game for the Zags, said we have everything to play for. No matter the result that we had on Wednesday night, that was not the result we were hoping for, but we have everything to play for on Saturday. And they have turned in one of their best performances of the year.
Coming in for the Waves, number 12.
Caroline Coleman returns for the Waves,
At number 23,
as does Kyra Murphy, who has been phenomenal. Murphy, the goal scorer. Alexander will come in for Gonzaga, who has been oftentimes the lone striker in this 4-2-3-1 type look. All 3 goals for the Zags from Riley. The Waves got one back when it was 2-0 through some brilliant teamwork from Waldeck to Gonzalez to Murphy. But Riley's third, controversial as it may be, right now is the thing that really makes this feel like we're inevitably walking towards Gonzaga's first ever WCC championship in women's soccer. Waldeck. Peyton Leonard. Back heel for Coleman, who has some space to work. Caroline Coleman. The Waves need some magic, will be an understatement. Waldeck had a chance at that, and Town says, no mas. She says, what are we doing? You can see her just kind of screaming at her defenders. Was quick to the task. Lauren Town has been really solid, not just today, but all year. 3rd best goals against average in the West Coast Conference as Kendall Campbell comes on for the Waves. She trails only Taylor Rath, Pepperdine's keeper, and Bree Norris of Portland in that category as far as WCC keepers go. Long throw for Leonard, who's standing 5 rows back on that Pepperdine track. Leonard in for Verplank, can Duckett fire it? She'll launch it in, looking for Waldeck. Duckett again, swings at it, still Juliana Duckett. Bounces out. Gonzalez chasing after it, and a chance to counter. Guess who? Riley. Still Riley against Bloom, and Taylor Bloom knocked down by Riley. No call. Riley sends it for head. And Taylor Bloom is down after, it wasn't a dirty collision, but when you're moving that fast and you get shouldered that way, it's always a dangerous play. No intent behind it, of course, but Bloom is down. The clock stops with just under 6 minutes left in Malibu. The Waves need 2 goals in 6 minutes. As you see Bloom going down there, who has struggled with injuries during her 2 years at Pepperdine, but when she has been on the field, has been one of the best center backs in the conference. Leonard, still Peyton Leonard. 5.5 to go in Malibu. Campbell, the Waves need to get numbers forward, and they need it in a hurry. Need not 1 but 2 here. Gonzaga on the brink of their first West Coast Conference championship in a year where they have set records for total goals scored, assists, goals per game, leading scoring team in the WCC, top 10 in the country. Chris Watkins nearly at the top of what has been a 7-year climb. 76, 32, and 14 all time as Coach Watkins at Gonzaga. Right when he got there, things changed for the Bulldogs. They had their first 10-win season in program history under him in that first year. Of course, Watkins coming over from BYU, as I mentioned early in this contest. Left on the wrong side of the bubble last year, and how about a way to redeem yourself? Get yourself off the bubble this year by stamping your place, putting your name in Sharpie into the NCAA tournament with a win today. They needed 3 points, and they are on the verge of it here in Malibu on the road. Romero. Just over 4 minutes. Campbell. The Waves searching for some late drama. It's taken away. Riley will settle things down for the Zags in no rush right now. Clinging to that 3-1 lead. As you can see, Riley just kind of wasting time trying to dribble through defenders, and she does. Somehow still on the end of it, and she'll draw a foul. Fitting for Gianna Riley, who coming into today had not scored in the WCC. She had 9 goals, all in non-conference. How about 3 today? Now atop that WCC list with 12 goals for the Golden Boot race here in the conference. Walters of Santa Clara has a chance to tie her or, of course, take that Golden Boot away. They play tonight at Portland. She has 11 goals. Waldeck came into today with 11. And we have multiple soccer balls. Maybe that's a way the Waves can get 2 goals in 3 minutes. I don't know where the other one came from. We'll restore order here in Malibu for the final 3 minutes of the regular season. But as I've mentioned, and as I want to make the push again, I don't know who's listening. Maybe I'm shouting into the void right now. But this Pepperdine team deserves to play more soccer. They deserve to be an NCAA tournament team. It's looking like it'll have to be the at-large route, one of those 33 at-large bids. Monday night is the time for Waves fans to tune in. Gonzaga fans, you'll be tuning in on Monday night, but you'll have a very different feel about it. The auto bid from the West Coast Conference right now looks like it's going to go to the Gonzaga Bulldogs. Romero will throw it in for Coleman. Coleman for Plank. Romero. Waldeck. Foul goes against the Waves. Excuse me, offside flag went up on the far side on the run of Waldeck. Offside flags have been, well, shall we put it this way, a topic of conversation today. The Waves had a goal disallowed early in the second half. Some very confused Pepperdine defenders at how a flag did not go up on the 3rd Gonzaga goal. This is a Gonzaga team that's making all kinds of history. They have never won 6 WCC games. They have never won an NCAA tournament game. They'll have a chance to do that this year. They haven't been to the big dance in nearly 20 years. Chris Watkins has turned this thing around, has brought the winning ways with him from BYU to Spokane. The Cougars are not in this conference anymore. The Zags are firmly here, and they are here to stay. I talked with Pepperdine head coach Tim Ward earlier about this Gonzaga team, and he said they've been on the rise for years, and that rise is peaking today. They're a half minute away from something they've never done before. Garcia, left side, just trying to waste some time. Riley's hat trick. That equals the 3 for Gonzaga. The Waves got one back through Murphy. Garcia, why not add to it? Bloom will boot it away. 10 seconds left in Malibu.
9, 8,
The Zags begin to celebrate on the far side.
5,
They're ready to storm this field, and they're ready to raise a trophy for the first time
1.
in program history. The Gonzaga Bulldogs are West Coast Conference champions.
The final score of today's game is Pepperdine 1, Gonzaga 3.
Let the celebrations begin for a Gonzaga team picked to finish 4th in this conference. They finish atop the conference. The Bulldogs 3, the Waves 1. We'll be back to wrap things up in just a moment from Malibu and bring you that trophy presentation down on the field. not find a way past Lawrentown enough times to come away with a win. And Riley, here's that goal, and you know what? That's a really good angle of it. That's the best angle we've had tonight. That was as close as it gets to offside. I don't know. I can't even tell from that replay. 3-1 winners for Gonzaga. They are going to the NCAA tournament. For Miguel Arcega, Chris Howard, David Rodriguez, Kelly Rosales, Noreen Shenozaki, and everyone here at our fantastic Game On Entertainment crew, I'm Asher Lowe saying so long. We'll send it down to the field for the trophy presentation for the Gonzaga Bulldogs. They are West Coast Conference champions.
On behalf of Pepperdine Athletics, I'm Tucker. Thanking you for your attendance. Now more than ever, please drive home safely.